Well, hello everyone, and you join us here today to have a little bit of a conversation, one that we would definitely like you to join in with us on. I, Tom, was watching the Formula One this weekend, the Grand Prize, the first race in Miami. Did you catch that particular race?
I didn't see it, no. I was at a 70th birthday party.
I would ordinarily say that probably was about as exciting as the Formula One race, but this was a good race. But before the race had even started, there was controversy off the track because Lewis Hamilton, known wearer of all things jewellery, had been told, alongside his compatriots who tend not to wear as much jewellery, that they can't wear jewellery in the cars anymore. And Lewis was a bit like, well, surely that's my deal. If I wear jewellery and that causes me a safety concern, I can sign that. I'm already driving at 200 miles an hour. Can I not make that extra decision with my life?
Is it because the sovereign rings he wears weighs too much?
Yeah, he wears them on his left hand, so he's always going left.
That'd be fine in Daytona.
But when he was talking about this, he decided to wear as much jewellery as he possibly could.
Yeah, I saw a snap of him wearing many watches, more than the required amount of watches.
Yeah, he was wearing 3 different IWC. He was wearing one, I think that's a collaboration design with him, one which is one of the new Top Gun Mojave Desert, and the new... Now, I'm going to have to read this out because I don't know if you've ever watched any of the Formula One Drive to Survive series, but even the Mercedes F1 team don't know the full name of their F1 team. This is the IWC Pilot's Watch Chronograph 41 Edition Mercedes-AMG Petronas Formula One team. And in case you got bored halfway through that, this is a new watch, the first watch that's been made in collaboration with the Mercedes F1 team.
Okay.
Now here's the thing. I saw that watch, and Lewis was wearing it on the Petronas bluey green strap. Mm-hmm. Very, very bright colour. Very reminiscent of, and conveniently reminiscent of this very popular colour that's going around at the moment, emerald green. And I saw it, and I thought, I really like that. Like, I really, really like it. It's just popping. I couldn't explain to you why I like it, but it just really stood out for me. And where that led with my brain was all the reasons why I shouldn't like it, or all the reasons why I might be told on a forum that I shouldn't like it. Depreciation, it's too big, it's not a Rolex, so on and so on and so on. And it got me to thinking, why, by this point, this was just an internalised argument with myself.
Yeah.
Why can't I like it? I like it, it's nice. And I don't know why I felt this. I don't know why I felt like I would somehow be ostracised by the community for liking it, because it's like it's a great watch. Am I talking nonsense, or is that weird feeling something that you've experienced as well? Okay,
so you feel like your taste in watches is being hampered by invisible community guidelines that may or may not exist.
You're making me sound like a lunatic, but. Yes.
No. That's yeah. I get what you're saying. Yeah. That's. There's a lot of talk. There's a lot of talk about that, isn't there? You know, IWC is a good example, really, because not all of their output I like. Yeah, their watches are quite big and cumbersome for me personally, but there are some in there that I do like. You know, there's the Pilot's Watch Automatic Spitfire. Like, that's definitely on my radar as a watch that I could consider purchasing. But, you know, that's one in a great number of watches that they put out. But yeah. I wouldn't say that I don't like IWC because I don't like most of their watches. And something like, as well, like if you think about Panerai, like those watches are way too big for me. They're quite a bold statement to wear one of those.
And I neither have the wrist girth nor the confidence to wear one.
But I still like them.
Yeah.
And I still want to enjoy them, and probably enjoy them, you know, more likely vicariously through others and you know, through pictures and media and things like that.
It seems to me like there are some golden boy watch brands out there that tick every box and are certified likeable, fresh, by the community to enjoy. And then there are other brands, and I think you're absolutely right, IWC and Panerai fall into this, where they have an aesthetic that can be polarising. And because they aren't a darling brand for everyone, it's almost like they get struck off for everyone.
Yeah.
And it just strikes me as odd. And really, I don't know if I'm being oversensitive, perhaps. And I will say at this point that it's good in the sense of transparency to say that Watchfinder, the company that we work for, is owned by the same business that owns IWC and Panerai. But these are feelings that really come from the heart. I've owned Panerai and I've owned IWC in the past. There are watches they've made that I do like, watches that I don't, reasons that I would buy some, reasons I wouldn't buy others. And it seems like because it's not a clear-cut, yes, I would buy every single watch, that brand gets enough stick to be moved to a second tier.
Yeah.
When really I think a brand like IWC is more interesting to me than a brand like Rolex, for a number of reasons.
Yeah.
But I just feel like I would have to almost be careful who I wore it in front of and where I wore it, not to spark the wrong conversation. And I just want to buy it and wear it and enjoy it because I like it. And that's it.
Yeah, I think you should. I think of it, if you think about the way we appreciate music and bands, especially, if you think of watch brands like bands or musical artists, you know, someone might say, oh, you're a fan of Radiohead? And you could say, oh, yeah, I love that song Creep. And they might turn around and go, yeah, well, what else do you like? And you go, oh, well, just that. Does that not make me a fan of Radiohead?
The band don't even like the song Creep, so you shouldn't like it. You're liking Radiohead all wrong.
Yeah, you need to like the entirety of In Rainbows and all the other obscure album tracks. You can't just like Creep. That doesn't make you a Radiohead fan. Well, it's like it's the same of watches. You have to like their entire output to be a fan of that brand. Like if we're talking about, you know, watches, watch brands being like bands, you know, Rolex, great band. You know, they had a really strong start. Their first few albums were great, but now all their songs sound the same.
Oh, Coldplay much?
We need to appreciate things differently. Things like, you know, there are more bad Star Wars films than there are good ones. Does that make Star Wars bad? There are more bad Aliens movies than there are good ones. There are more bad episodes of The Simpsons than there are good ones. So would you say The Simpsons is a bad TV show? No, you can't, because it's got the heritage.
Yeah.
It's bad now, but it didn't used to be. And I think, you know, you kind of have to give watch brands that kind of slack. Yeah, they can't all be zingers, but every now and then they might surprise you with a hit and you can still like it. Like the Hublot Square Bang. I thought that was cool. That was all right. Like, do I like Hublot? I like that watch, so sue me.
Yeah. And we're not even talking about, in the case of IWC and Panerai, we're not talking about a brand that puts out more stinkers than it does good watches. Their watches are generally nice.
Yeah.
Maybe this is coming from a place of my own confidence where I don't feel like it's liked by enough people for me to wear it. Maybe this is me talking. Maybe it isn't the community.
Yeah, I think
really
that is a big part of it as well. Yeah, you got to be confident. It's like wearing a kilt. If you're not going to be confident, there's no way you're going to have a good time. Like, you've got to just strap that thing on and get out there and
feel the breeze.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the same with this Avatar teal coloured IWC you're talking about.
I like it so much. I'm usually pretty good at justifying why I like things. In fact, I will usually say, if someone says they like something, I'll say why and be really annoying about it. But I can't put my finger on it.
I think it is nice to be able to communicate why you like something and maybe impress upon someone else why something is good, and, you know, you might be able to convert them or whatever. But I think just liking something is enough. Sometimes it's not clear cut, it's just a feeling, and I think you have to go with it. Enjoy what you want and don't worry about it.
Yeah, and maybe I'm a sucker, but I love F1. I think what Toto Wolff has done with Mercedes has been legendary, and I'm really interested to see how he recovers it from this year, which is something that you're going to know absolutely nothing about.
Sounds good.
This watch also buys into a part of that. I like that. I really do.
Yeah.
And I'll thank you, Brain, not to judge me for it. So I suppose we should really talk a little bit about the watch, actually, since I brought it up. This ticks a lot of boxes for me, and I think it would do for a lot of enthusiasts as well. It's 41mm, so it's not too big.
It's too big.
14.5. Well, it's too big for you, yeah, but most things are.
Just like all IWCs.
14.5mm thick, so it's a little bit chunky, but I think it suits the watch. Made in titanium, so you get that really Formula One-esque grey. It feels like a product that's been engineered rather than designed. Much like a Formula One car. You've got the black with the Petronas green, 100 meters of water resistance, in-house caliber IWC 69385, chronograph function, 46 hours of power reserve, and it's an automatic. Like, again, it's not, the specification isn't blinding. It doesn't do 3 days of power reserve. It doesn't have a split-second chronograph. It doesn't, but it's great. It's fine. I love it.
I would add that the chronograph pushers look satisfying and the quarter markers look nice and shiny. So
it's got everything. So, well, really, dear viewer and listener, tell us your thoughts on this, because I'm kind of stumped. I feel like a teenager questioning who I am and who I fancy all over again. And to be honest, that's a good thing. Do you like this watch? If you do, why do you like it? If you don't, why don't you like it? How do you think that reflects on decisions that you're making based on your own preferences and perhaps how you feel others might judge you? Maybe you're different to me. Maybe you have more confidence than I do. Tom, before we wrap up, are there any watches out there that you quite like the look of, but you just feel like you couldn't wear it to a watch meet if you were to attend one?
Yeah, all the watches I currently own.
Oh, that's a shame. You've got some nice watches.
But it's just too much other stuff. You know, I need a new driveway. I'm going to get a new driveway before I get an IWC.
Yeah.
It's a troublesome hobby, this thing.
It is.
Staring at the pictures just isn't enough.
Before I manage to persuade you to do something rash with your cash, let's call it there. Thank you all for listening. Do let us know what you thought of this particular episode in the comments as well, and subscribe if you enjoyed it. We really appreciate it. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.